I am so excited to be here with you guys today. This is a dream job for me, and I'll start by saying that. And I always start my speeches by saying that. It's a dream job because, and this is the second thing I always tell people, I grew up about 30 miles southeast of Green Bay. I am a Packer fan, so yep, I know. That's okay, yeah, and it is one of those years, yes, exactly. I had visions of Aaron Rodgers throwing the touchdown pass into the end zone at US Bank Stadium, and that was all crushed when Anthony Barr legally tackled Aaron Rodgers, and it was legal. So how did this event come back to Minnesota 26 years later? So a few years ago, Governor Dayton tapped Richard Davis, Doug Baker, and Marilyn Carlson Nelson to lead the charge to present Minnesota in Atlanta to the owners. Frankly, nobody thought Minnesota was going to win. There were 5 cities that were up for this great event, and we were kind of like they're probably not going to get it. Richard Davis tells a great story about it was down to New Orleans and Minnesota, and actually, again, still even at that point, everyone thought New Orleans was going to win. And so the media was everybody is in a hotel room, and the media was parked outside of New Orleans hotel room. No one was parked outside of the conference room that Minnesota was in. As soon as Goodell announced Minnesota, Richard said it was like a stampede of elephants as the hundreds of media were rushing down the hall to get down there. When we started this endeavor at the beginning of 2015, we knew that we needed a way to talk about Minnesota and sort of portray to the world who we are. And this is kind of where we came up with the Bold North theme. Eric Dayton had been talking about North, and he'd been in the Wall Street Journal and CNN talking about how Minnesota's not the Midwest. And the word bold had continued to come up throughout our bid. And so when Maureen and I came on board, we were the first 2 people working. We were like, okay, how about Bold North? Actually, Maureen said that. She said, what about Bold North? And I said, okay, I think that's so dumb. I don't even think that. Okay, now there's hundreds of thousands of dollars in merchandise being sold, so my bad. And so we knew from the beginning we could either hide from that or we could really embrace it, and that's why we did come up with the Bold North. In our, when we are out giving speeches, talking to the media, giving interviews, we do talk about the fact that Minnesota is a 4-season state, how amazing it is in the fall. The good news is we have done a lot of events over the past 2.5 years. We've done a fam trip where we had 500 people come in from out of town, and they came in actually last year in October, like right around the Ryder Cup time, that beautiful weather we had. Of course, they were all like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing place. So we have really tried to do the events where we bring in the NFL and all of the vendors. We've tried to do them in the summer or the fall so that people can experience other seasons. And we do talk about that. Having said that, you know what? It is what it is. And it's why we created on Super Bowl Live an outdoor activity, because this is who we are, and one of the reasons we live here. We might not love the cold, but we embrace it, and many of us are outside during the winter, and so that is what we really try to communicate. We do talk to our volunteers a lot about, we want people to come back to Minnesota, and that's something I think that we tell them a lot about. Talk about what it's like in the summer, what it's like in the fall. That's really how we are going to communicate those messages, because unfortunately we can't bring summer to February. We hear from the NFL that it wasn't, in Indianapolis and New York were both cold weather Super Bowls, and in the end, that wasn't that big of a deal. People get nervous about Minnesota because we have this reputation, but it's not that much colder here than it is potentially in New York. Now, if we get a 40 below zero day, that's not going to be great, but we'll deal with it, It's funny because whenever people come into town and they talk about what if it snows, it's like, snow? We do snow. Bring it on. We love that. So when we were shooting the video with Bud Grant, we have developed this whole concept of Bold North, and it's become iconic, and it's how we promote Minnesota. And so I said to Bud Grant, could you say welcome to the Bold North? And he looked at me, he was like, I don't say Bold North. I'm like, okay, it's fine. That's fine. Say whatever you want to say.